want to be very clear at the start that you are not going to see any graphic images from this video. We are going to be reviewing dog attack videos, but you will not see anything graphic. You will not see any actual dog attacks. This video is for informational purposes only, and I want it to be used with a professional manner. What's up, guys? It's Jenna with Dog Liaison, where I coach you on how to enhance your dog's mental health needs. On this channel, we break down scientific research in order to inform and educate us on how to train dogs. If you're new here, this entire channel is dedicated to dog anxiety, including aggression. And so today's video is revolved around reviewing dog attack videos. And so I really want to break down the dog body language. I really want to look at aggressive dog body language so that you can see the preliminary warning signs. You can really pinpoint exactly what is going on in the leading moments up to a dog attack. Let's get into it. So this first video was actually sent to me by a viewer, by a subscriber, and I'll admit that I was really hesitant to do a review video of this, but I really think it's important that we're seeing some of these preliminary signs. So this is a perfect example of very subtle signs that aggression is about to happen. This is a perfect example in this video. So just as a warning, this husky right here is the one that is going to aggress towards another little dog. I believe it's this little dog over here. And the incident is going to occur in this corner. So one of the things that I've noticed upon watching this is that the husky spends a lot of time watching this corner. I'm not sure if it's actually formal territoriality or what about this corner is going on here, but this seems to be a hot zone for Mr. Husky Man, and there are a lot of indications leading up to the event that he's guarding it. Let's check it out. So he's pacing. When this little dog came running over in this general direction, and the husky started walking back over here, right? I'll replay that for you guys to see. So this little guy comes walking over, and husky goes, wait, I gotta guard this spot. And what ends up happening as a result is that husky makes this slouched position where he picks up his paw. See how his paw is kind of picked up there and curved? He's got that tail curled over. His head is low and slouched. His ears are pulled back. He's showing a lot of position that is indicating that this space is his, or at the very least, this space is sensitive property, right? We can't necessarily prove that he's being possessive of the zone per se, but we do know that this zone is a hot area for him. We end up getting a little play stretch. We can assume that that's some sort of stress signal, though how much of a stress signal we'll never really know. Again, we get a standoff. When this dog starts walking back into this space, Husky Man freezes. That tail is still curled over. He eyes it. See how the little guy down here comes moving, and the husky turns his head to look. And as soon as little guy over here, as soon as little guy starts walking in that corner, what does husky do? Go walk right back into that area, right? In that instant. He starts walking, his head goes low, he's slouching. And now, one of the things that I really want you to look at, let me see if I can get a better frame. Yep, right there. See how that tail goes up and out. There's a lot of stiffness there. And on top of that, you can see that flex in those thighs. There's a lot of muscle flexion there. And so we know that those legs are filling up with blood, right? They're ready to act in some degree. However that action is yet to be determined, but we know that the muscles are ready for response. And so there's going to be a standoff, and then in about a millisecond after a standoff is when the dog attacks. So let me see if I can get that frame. Okay, so right here is where there's that standoff. There's a lot of stiffness. This husky over here is standing on top of the small dog. And right now, as soon as I push play, is when the husky will aggress, and there will be a fatal incident. So I'm not going to demonstrate that. I'm not going to show you guys that, but it does get really bad. But one of the things that I especially see is this curvature in the thigh, right? There's a lot of structure, or there's a lot of pressure into the ground, pushing down and back, right? Okay, so in this next video, we're going to watch a police dog attack a reporter. Now, I want to be very clear. Again, you're not going to see anything. And I actually picked this one because when I saw this video, it really frustrated me. There are a lot of warning signs that get overlooked here.
Pedro, a 15-month-old purebred German Shepherd, is 65 pounds of muscle. John Gordon makes a request that changes.
So already, even in this little clip, we can see what's going on. First, the dog's on a chain collar. So not only is the dog on a chain collar, but we can see how close he is from the hand to the neck, that tension right there. So this is a problem, guys. Who's surprised that when we put on an aversive and close it around their neck like that, that now the dog is going to be sensitive? On top of that, now we can see that the dog's mouth is closed and we can kind of see the line. And look at those ears. Now, anyone who has spent longer than 3 seconds with a German Shepherd knows that their ears are not only very expressive, but they're usually pretty forward and alert. And even if the dog is really happy or alert in a good way or a bad way, it doesn't matter. Usually the ears are forward. So the fact that the ears are so far back and so glued back to his shoulders is really indicating that stress. Then we see that the gentleman, the reporter's patting him on his head like this. That can't be enjoyable, right? Then we see that he's got this awkward sitting position here, right? He's kind of slouched and even his paws are going outwards. Now, I don't know if they naturally fall that way. Some dogs' paws naturally turn out east-westy. Most don't, though. But that definitely is something that's happening here. And if that's not his natural sitting stance, that's a problem.
Everything. The reporter wants to get up
We get a lip lick there. In fact, we get a second one after that.
close and personal with Pedro.
The second one right there.
Although he's agreed, Officer Best keeps Pedro on
Get a third one right there in
the
slow-mo.
leash with a choke collar around the dog's neck.
Mr. Gordon was kneeling down on the other side, and everything was just as it should have been.
All seems well and
So now we can see that the gentleman, the reporter, has put both his hands on there and is leaning forward. Those ears are still far back. He's licked his lips, which is a stress signal. And when the gentleman stands up, that is, I think, the catalyst for why the German Shepherd goes and attacks. But there were still plenty of signs. You know, it wasn't like a matter of, the only thing that was a problem was the reporter went to stand up. In fact, in a moment, you're going to hear that they claim the stand-up had something to do with dominance. There's no proof that the German Shepherd was viewing this action as a dominating behavior per se. There's not really any science that proves that dogs understand when we're trying to dominate them or submit to them or anything like that. That's really not grounded in any sort of evidence. What we can prove, though, is that the dog was clearly uncomfortable by this body posture, regardless of what his interpretation of it was making him uncomfortable. That's the point.
till the news reporter puts both hands on the police dog's throat and then repositions himself to get even closer.
He leaned over.
Yeah, and guys, and that was one of the things that really upsets me, is that there were still plenty of signs leading up to that event. That was not the one thing that just completely undid everybody's happy-go-lucky day. There were plenty of signs that indicated that dog was uncomfortable. And then after this cut, the dog does aggress, and so I'm not going to show that here, but the dog aggresses towards the person's face. So in this video, I'm going to show you the repercussions of having a dog on leash, one dog on leash and the other dog off leash for a meet and greet. In this video, one of the things that upsets me is that, you know, the vicious pit bull attack is what it's called. Guys, this is ridiculous. You know, both of the owners, I think, are at fault, not the dogs. You're going to consistently see that this pitty that is on leash is consistently pulled off the ground. And his weight or her weight, whatever it is never really firmly planted, but is constantly at the mercy of this leash. And this dog is off leash and is able to roam about as needed. And so this dog comes over in a banana curve. He comes over, see how there's a little slant there? He goes right for the rear, which is appropriate. That makes sense. But the pitty is clearly highly aroused, and this owner has no good leash mechanics. He's pulling on that neck the entire time. See how when he's pulling back, see how there's no weight in these front legs? He's just at the mercy of the leash. The foundation is not there. Whereas when you look at the Rottie, you can see those paws are firmly planted in the ground, that there is that core strength there. The problem with this position right here is that the owner has completely removed the dog's free will. He has completely removed this pitty's ability to function on his own. This is a perfect example of humans interfering. And I'm not going to say that humans are the cause for all dog-dog aggression. That's not true. But this instance right here was completely caused not only by this owner that was on leash, but also the other owner that's recording. Because let us not forget that just because there's not someone seen on the video, someone is holding a phone and someone is recording this instance and no one's interfering. That's a problem. And the problem is that this person keeps trying to pull this dog away from the Rottie. If you really don't want your dog near the Rottie, ask the person who owns the Rottie to take the dog away. Like, don't keep yanking your dog because you're upset with how the other dog is behaving. Speak up. You are your dog's advocate. You must speak up. And then what's going to end up happening here is this owner is going to pull this dog's leash. And the same thing that's happened over and over and over again in this video is this pitty is going to be pulled back. His paws are not going to be pushed into the ground. They're going to be pulled off the ground. His weight, this pitty's weight, is going to lean over this Rottie's shoulders, and the Rottie is going to become reactive, understandably, because now the pitty is on his back. But the pitty would never have been on his back if the owner wasn't holding it. So let me play this out for you guys. Did you see that? The owner pulls the pitty over the back. The Rottie goes, "Hey homie, why are you on me like that?" And things implode. Over the shoulder, the Rottie goes, "Why are you looking at me that way?" And they aggress. Just like that, right? And all of this could have been avoided if you just not let one dog on leash and one dog off leash, and if both dogs had been secure. And honestly, the pitty was showing a lot of tension in his body. Like, this just wasn't a good meet and greet in general. So this next one that I want to show you is actually, I just want you to see the dog's body postures. So this is two dogs attacking a police cruiser. Why I'm showing you this video is because I want you to watch how the dogs position their body. So see how all of the weight is reared back, and you have this kind of triangle effect, right? Where the paws go in a triangle and the rear is kind of out, like past the hind legs, right? As he's pulling. That is a very strong structure for a dog. And so this is a position that we know that the dog is there to last, right? That dog is there to stay in contact with whatever the object is. In this case, it's the car. But if it was a person or a dog, that would be very dangerous. As opposed to a dog who's just there to give a warning bite and move on, right? This is very firm into the ground, very reared back. There's a lot of core strength here. There's a lot of flexed muscles in the rear. This is a position that if a dog is doing this to your dog or to another person, this can be a very dangerous posture for a dog to be in. Okay, so this video is a perfect one. We're gonna see symptoms and the result of an excitable dog. So basically what's happening is this gentleman is walking his small dog down the street, and at the same time, a neighbor's dog is going to come running out and go fighting at the fence, right? They're walking, they're kind of barking at each other. You can see they're kind of noticing each other. This small dog is going to start running up and down this barrier, and I want you to watch his tail. Can you see it kind of shaking over there? You can kind of see it shaking back and forth. He's going to move in a second. See him wag? This is a perfect example of just because a dog is wagging doesn't mean that the dog is happy. We must get that out of our minds. It drives me crazy that we think that a wagging tail is a happy tail. That is not absolutely a for sure thing. And this is a perfect example because this dog is about to break loose, charge down the street, and attack the other dog viciously. So we need to see these early signs, notice that the dog is wagging, and prevent us from thinking that, oh, the dog is happy. It's a small white dog that's wagging. It must be a happy dog. No. A wagging tail is a state of arousal. It's a state of excitability. And we also want to look at the speed at which it's wagging, because that can also tell us a lot. So the dog breaks loose. He sneaks out back here. You can kind of see him back here. And he runs down the street. And he goes and attacks the dog. A dog, I think it's like a Husky or a Malamute or something like that. He's going to headbutt this woman right here. He asks for some affection. He gets it. Everything's great. I think this is the owner, I believe. And throughout the first minute or so, the dog is going around and getting affection from people, saying, hey, hello. He walks right up to her. So he does ask for her attention, and he's got that confident posture. But look at her body posture. See how she's leaned over, and she ends up kind of covering the dog's face entirely. She puts her head right next to his. That's something that so many people do. They just put their head right up next to the dog's face because the dog is, you know, acting calmly or whatever. First of all, if you do nothing else with your life, don't let your child do this because your child is going to do this consistently, and we need to be intervening every step of the way. But you also should not be doing this. And we see a lot of stiffness in this body. He ends up turning his head over to his owner, and she goes in to lean forward again after he's interacted with the owner. She goes to lean forward as the Husky is looking at the owner, and she ends up getting nose hit. And everyone stands up, and it's chaos. So the purpose of this dog attack breakdown is for educational purposes. I really hope that you guys saw some of these early signs, some of these early body postures. I know that they are hard to see in the moment. I know that they are not easily spotted when it's right there in front of you. I get it. But you can learn to become good at these things. You can learn to be good by watching these videos and memorizing these body language. This is exactly what I do day in and day out. People send me videos of them training with their dogs from the RRP, which is my Recovering Rover program, and this is what I do. I review their videos and I break it down for them and I send them help. So if you're interested in learning more about dog aggression and dog anxiety, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video and you would like more dog attack breakdowns in this manner, make sure to hit like and tell me in the comment section below that you enjoy this and you'd like to see more. I hope to see you guys soon, and have a wonderful day.